In this video, we're going to take a deeper dive into the Call to Adventure rewards from the recent Kickstarter. So let's get started. Welcome to Solitary RPG. Now that I've had the game in my possession for a little while, and I've had time to go over all the different components and set my game up, I wanted to take a deeper dive into everything that came with this Kickstarter. We're going to start with all the add-ons that I purchased with this game. The two that I'm still the most excited about are these art decks. There's no, if you watch my unboxing and I talked about the text on the back, there's no direct link for these cards in the game that I could find, other than if you just wanted to add more flavor text as you were playing the game. And it even says on the back of here, the back of each card includes story prompts and room for notes. So that's all they mention about this, and that it's a perfect accessory for writers and tabletop RPG players. These cards can be used as visual aids or to build characters, plan encounters, and inspire your next great story. So these aren't going to, I'm not going to use these in this game. These are going to be used for my RPG games. So I'll probably end up sleeving these in clear sleeves and finding a box to put them in, because once I sleeve them, they're no longer going to fit inside this box because there's no room for the sleeves. So I'll have to find a tarot size box or just make something. That's those. This Elemental is the card that came from Gen Con. I went back on their Facebook page and verified that because I just wanted to make sure. Then I've got two first day pledge cards. So when this game came out, you got some extra cards for pledging on the first day. That's what these are. Then I got two other card sets. I believe these are just reprints from a previous Kickstarter, and these are just feat cards. You got dark and light feat cards, which is part of the game. You collect these are the cards you'll play from your hand, and the reason I call them dark or light is one's dark and one's light. When you're a bad character and you do bad things, you collect bad cards. When you're a good character, you collect good cards. That's how that works. So anyways, these are just the feat cards that came, I believe, with a previous Kickstarter. And they're just, oops. So this is the art on them. Again, they have special abilities. And I have not sleeved these, and I don't plan to sleeve them anytime soon. And I don't know why I got two of them. I don't know if I was, there's on a lot of these feat cards, there's duplicates in the deck. So I don't know if this was meant for me to put them all in, or if I was only supposed to put one in and I got two because I might have ordered an extra one for my other version of Call to Adventure. I don't know. I don't have all those answers, but that's what these are. And then this is a reprint of like rare cards. So I noticed that the art on these cards is a little bit different, and it says these are reprints. So these might have been just from previous Kickstarters, which they'll do. Sometimes the cards that some of these cards are only available through the Kickstarter program. So that's probably what these are from one of the previous Kickstarters. But the art is a little bit different compared to the other art in the game. And they're still very nice. This one looks very modern. Like those look like just two people in a field with modern clothes on. But the art's very nice. So that's what these are. And again, I haven't done anything with them yet. I'm not going to put them in any of my games until I know for sure if I have enough sleeves. And that's the next thing I want to talk about, are the sleeves. So the sleeves were also an add-on. and I was able to get all of my cards sleeved up. So they're very nice sleeves. This is what's known now as a heritage card. These are the little acorn on them. These are new cards to the game. None of the other games have these cards in it. And basically, what they are is they're giving you a race. So you can be a half elf, you can be a gnome, you can be a construct, an elf, a human. Sorry, the glare is a little rough. A bird folk, half orc, beast folk, dwarf, and halfling. And these heritage cards just have a special ability. So this symbol here is one of the symbols you can roll on your dice. And if you roll that symbol, you activate your heritage ability. And it's either gain a feat card, dark or light, or re-roll every rune except for this symbol. And we'll talk about what that symbol is when we go over the player board, rune. So, but the sleeves are very nice. I like the foil on the inside. It really borders the card nicely because the cards aren't a perfect fit. So you get a little bit of that silver color. I like it. And they're just nice sleeves. I do like sleeving my cards, especially for this kind of a game. So that way, when I'm shuffling my cards, I just kind of slide them in and out. But that way, when I'm pulling, everything is up, is the right side. I'm not turning cards and stuff like that. If I was doing like a regular poker card shuffle, it's one of the reasons why I like to sleeve them, because the image tells you the top or the bottom of the sleeve or of the card. So here for these dark cards, the point of this symbol is pointing down, and on the light cards, it's pointing up. So that are about the sleeves, but you're going to get a lot of extra sleeves after you sleeve everything up. These are all my extra sleeves, but don't get too excited. These are just the cards that came in this box set. I have not sleeved up the campaign cards yet, and let's talk about these now. Before we talk about the campaign sleeves, I also wanted to mention, when I was pulling out the sleeves for the heritage cards, the ones with the acorn on it, this was also in that pack. And none of the cards in Epic Origins are adversary cards with this symbol as a tarot size. Only the poker size cards are. So I looked at my other games, and the other games have tarot cards with this backing on it. So I can use these sleeves in my other games, but they came with the sleeve packs. So that leaves me hope that the tarot cards or that sleeve pack that I purchased will have everything I need to sleeve my other games if I choose to go in that direction. So anyways, these, I didn't know what these were at first. So after reading the instructions, I figured out how these work. So in the original game, all the cards were just included in the box set. So when you opened up your box set, your adversary cards were in there. All of the feat cards were there. All of the heritage cards, or all the character cards were there, and all the act cards were there. Everything was in the box, and you just started playing the game. Now with this setup, what they've got going on is you have cards in here that are going to be more than just the adversary cards. So there are no spoilers with me opening these up. This is just an adversary, but we will just start with chapter 1. In the campaign mode, you open this up, and you get, first thing you get is an instruction card. So this is going to tell you a little bit of information, a little story text. Then on the back, you're going to have your setup and then your outcome. So, and then it tells you which the next chapter is going to be, which should be taking you to chapter 2, Beast of Legend. so that you're doing like a connected story. So you get instructions, then you're going to get a new adversary card. So the adversary decks changed a little bit in this game. You just kind of have a general adversary card deck. In solo play, you built a very specific adversary deck. Now you just play off the adversary deck, and it's more of a rules thing. And if you're not familiar with the older game and the newer game, it won't make any sense. But anyways, this goes to your adversary deck. Then you get some new cards. So these cards are what you use to develop your character at the beginning of the game. You take the decks, there's 3 of them total. There's a silver one as well. You get 2 of each of these cards. You pick which card you're going to use to develop your character. It's a rules thing, but you get more of them. So, and then you get your adversary, and your adversary card is double-sided. So you have a weaker side, and you're going to fight this adversary after Act 2. And then you flip it over to the harder side, the final adversary for this leg of the campaign. And then this would be the one you fight at the end of this campaign, or this chapter, sorry. So that's what's in these packs. So you just move along in the gameplay, chapter 1, chapter 2, there's 6 chapters, and then a final chapter. So 7 chapters total. And these are going to be added to your game. So one of the things that I'm going to do, because I'm going to play through the campaign, and if I ever want to play through it again, well, I have to remember what cards to pull out. Now, I'm sure somebody on the internet's probably going to go in and do a nice, lovely spreadsheet, and I'll have all that information on a spreadsheet. I'm just going to write the name of the cards on my envelopes. That way, if I choose to break the game back down to the campaign and go through the campaign again, I'll know which cards go in which envelope. So the reason these aren't sleeved yet is once you put them in sleeves and you have all your cards and you go to put them back into the envelope, it's just a little bit too much, and it kind of puts it fills the envelope too much. And I'm afraid that all that pressure might round the corners of the sleeves, or might cause some damage to them. So what I'll probably end up doing is, if I ever do end up breaking the game back down and putting all the cards away, I'll have to take them out of the sleeves, or find bigger envelopes, which wouldn't be that hard to do. I don't know. I'll have to figure out something. I don't have a solution to this yet, but I definitely will be writing the name of the cards on the back of the envelopes, so that way, when I break it down, I'll know what goes in what. Next, I want to take a look at the player board. When I did my unboxing, I talked about, well, this is different. This was a change, because in the older games, I thought the tracker was on the other side. And so I went and pulled out a player board from my first Call to Adventure, and I was correct. This was on the left-hand side. So this is a little bit of a cosmetic change. And at first I was like, well, why did they do that? Because I could use my older player boards, because in the original Call to Adventure, these are like hard cardboard, where these are just kind of like flimsier card stock. I was like, I could use my old player boards, because they're just a harder product, and I like that. So then I started looking at the board a little bit closer, and there are a few changes to the player board. The first thing they changed is they added RPG characteristics here, like strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. So now these runes, when you're collecting them in gameplay, they have a RPG characteristic to them. And this comes in handy when you're doing the conversion from gameplay and creating your RPG character for D&D 5th edition. The other thing is that symbol again. There's that symbol. The rules for this symbol have changed a lot in this game. So in the old game, it said when you pulled this symbol, you would either draw a hero or anti-hero card. So these are the dark light cards, the poker size cards to build your hand. So that's what this symbol used to do. Now the symbol just activates your heritage power, which you're still going to draw a card, but you're also going to get some additional powers based on which heritage cards you have chosen, which race cards you have chosen. So that's what's changed on the board. Now, could I still use the old board? Sure. I don't really need to know what these symbols are until I actually go to convert my character into an RPG character. And I just need to remember when I roll that, it's a heritage power and not draw the hero card, anti-hero card. But that is a change. And I feel that's why they made this change here, where they took the tracker. This is, your dark ruins and your light ruins, dark and light, anti-hero, hero stuff. They shifted it over here so that visually when you look at the boards, this is not for the other games, because this is how the board is for the other games. So that was a change. Cosmetically it makes sense. Move it over. Your players are going to know that the boards are different, so that this goes with the Epic Origins system. And outside of that, other than like writing something on it or making it colored differently or something, I don't know what else they could have done. This seemed like a wise choice. So now we're going to take a look at the rules a little bit, primarily the solo rules, because I play this game solo. Most of the game plays the same. There's been enough changes to where I had to read the rule book, but not enough to where I don't remember how to play the game. A lot of the core concepts are the same. The heritage cards add a little bit more to it. The character development cards are a little bit different, but everything's, the gameplay is still the same. But when we get into solo rules, that's where things really got different. So solo rules, that's it right here. These are my solo rules. I'll hold them up to the camera here. Playing Epic Origins with a single hero is very similar to playing with a group. You follow the same rules for the setup of the adversary and change little else. The big thing you need to walk away with is be aware that when a feat card says it targets any hero, that includes yourself. So if you play a feat card, and it says that you're targeting yourself because you have nobody else to target. That's it for the solo rules. Now, what this tells me is they've made enough changes to this game that they approached it with solo play in mind. And the reason I say that is if we look at the old game rules, and you go to the back for solo play, this was the rules for solo play. In this game, it felt like solo rules were bolted on after the game was developed. So it was developed as a group game with a variant for solo, and they kind of bolted it together. Now I feel like they approached the game with solo play in mind. Because the old setup, you had to build it. You built a custom adversary deck. Just the way everything worked was a little bit different, and it just felt like it was bolted on. It was still fun, but here it just looks like it's all done. Like you can still play through the campaign one chapter at a time until you get to the end, and everything should work just good. The only downside to playing solo, cards can be played at any time. So if you're playing with other opponents, they can actually play cards to benefit you, to help you. You just can't do that now. You can only play cards that you have. So that's the trade-off we take in life. So anyways, and then here, building the RPG character, give you a little scan code so it takes you directly to the website. The rules and information for creating a RPG character from gameplay is a PDF. It's a separate PDF. Nothing's included in here talks about it. You go here, you download a document. I believe it was like 6 pages long, lots of charts, and all it really is doing is it started to rain outside. All it's really doing is taking the ruins that you collect, the symbols that you collect, where you have your strength, dexterity, charisma, and all that stuff, and giving you a chart to say, I've got so many of these, I get a +2 to this characteristic, and then some of the other cards or some other charts in there, just converting stuff over to Dungeons and Dragons language, so things fit a little bit better in that game. That is it. Um, Is it cool? I didn't read it that in depth because I'm really not interested in doing a lot of the conversion over to Dungeons and Dragons, but I will spend some time on it, and when I do my first gameplay, I'll probably walk through that process, so that I can kind of review it more thoroughly. But for right now, that's the information you get for doing that. And then obviously you got combining Epic Origins with the other sets. This is very important if you want to use all these new cards and all this new set with your other games. It will actually, if you their website will give you the cards that need to be removed and all that kind of stuff. So that's what's there. But that was the big changes for the solo rules. So you're basically just playing the game as is, very little conversion to play solo, which I like. And then the game itself, like I said, it still pretty much plays the same. Here's an example of a 2-player game right here. You're going to play cards, you're going to collect cards, you're going to build your epic story, and you're going to try to win the game. So that's fun. I'm not going to do an actual video walking through the rules themselves. There are other people that have better channels on that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do some playing of the game now that everything's sleeved up and ready to go. I'm going to play the game. I'm going to create some characters, and I'm going to talk about that, and I'll walk through some of the steps that maybe are a little bit different, a little bit unique. But to do a full gameplay, it's really not my thing on the channel. I'm just going to kind of talk about the results of my playing and things like that. So anyways, thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye.